All right, for today's lesson, you are going to start out with Chapter 8 notes. I'm sorry that I'm not going to be giving these notes to you in person, but we are so very far behind, and mock interviews are so very close that we just need to make some progress today. So on Google Classroom, under Notes, you're going to have a Chapter 8 fill in the blank that looks just like this. You're going to get that out. And you are going to follow along with me as we go through all the way down to the middle of page 2 under listening, the silent power. At that point, we're going to stop, put this away, and you're going to call it a lesson for the day, and we're going to move forward the next time we meet. So if you would get out your notes, you may hit pause at this point and open them up. Thanks for grabbing your notes. Now we're going to go through a few slides on interview essentials. Anytime you find me moving too quickly for you, please just hit pause. Remember, you can always go back and replay these. First thing, the interviewer now has your resume, cover letter, and application form, and they've decided that you are someone they want to meet and get to know better. However, once they lay eyes on you, you have 30 seconds to wow them. Interviewers form strong opinions about applicants within the first 30 seconds. Those 30 seconds are going to make or break your chance of getting that job. But there's no way they're going to know everything about you in that 30 seconds. Remember, 30 seconds is only enough time to give you a once-over and make some observations that may or may not be true. So, things they're looking at first: posture, or how you sit or stand or walk, your dress, the neatness and grooming that you've done prior to coming in for an interview, your facial expression, the ability to make contact with their eyes, and energy and enthusiasm, as well as voice qualities. The good news is you can control each one of these things. You can sound excited even if you aren't feeling particularly excited. Same thing with eye contact. Once you meet your interviewer, concentrate on being likable. Make sure your appearance is appropriate for the job you're applying for. We're going to talk a little bit about professional interviews, and then we'll contrast those with your mock interview, and so that you know what the difference might be. Be friendly, courteous, and enthusiastic. Even if you're not sure you like the interviewer, always be polite. Speak positively, using positive body language, and smile. Body language we're going to talk about now, but it's really, what are you doing with your hands, your hair when it gets in the way? Do you have any kind of mannerisms that show that you're nervous? Sometimes people are picking at their fingernails, or they'll be twirling their hair to get it out of the way. Your documents look amazing. Your cover letter, resume, and application, you spend a lot of time on them. Demonstrate that you are not only enthusiastic about the job, but have confidence and pride in the work that you've done. It really is a pretty good job. Demonstrate that you have taken time to look up facts about that employer. You know what products and services they sell. You know some interesting facts. You've looked all these things up. Show off that you have that knowledge, and perform at your best at every moment. You're only going to be on this first interview for 15 minutes or so. Be on your A game. When you're going to a professional interview, when I'm talking professional, I mean something that you've gone to college to learn how to do. These are usually jobs that require a certain educational background or certification or licensure. We're talking conservative, businesslike. Businesslike almost always means a suit. Think about extremes being perceived negatively. You never want to be remembered for the extreme haircut or color, the extremely short or long skirt or pants, the extreme length of fingernails or the extreme amount of jewelry or makeup. You want to make sure that you stand out for your answers and responses to questions, the quality of your resume, not what you look like. You should, however, be clean and neat and appropriate for the industry that you want to be working in. Complementary, appropriate colors are usually neutrals or dark tones. We'll talk more about that coming up. Regardless of what you're wearing, you should always be groomed with hair and teeth brushed and clean from head to toe. If you're someone who's prone to spilling coffee down the front of your shirt, make sure you have a backup. Last but not least, get a good night's sleep. It's easy to look tired and then come off as being lethargic or pretty dull in an interview. Get a good night's sleep. To be effective at the things that you're going to say, verbal again is what's coming out of your mouth, not what you look like. So to be effective at that, please use the interviewer's name. You will know the name of your interviewer. If you don't, you're going to call and find out, or you're going to make note of it when you are reached out to so that you are prepared in advance. Use positive, courteous terms. Courteous just means you're being polite. Use a pleasant voice tone and try to avoid words like just and only that diminish accomplishments. If you babysat kids, and that's one of your experiences, and they say, wow, you really did some great work when you were babysitting, and you said, nah, I just watched them for 2 hours, or I only do it when I had to, it makes it sound less impressive. Emphasize your strengths and the skills that you have that are going to make you a good choice for the job you're applying for. And above all, keep it professional. There's no reason to talk about previous employers or coworkers, previous teachers you've had negative experiences with, or friends that you've had conflict with. Your employer is going to get information from you through 3 different sources. The things that you say, the way that you perceive your body and how you showcase your gestures, your facial expression, how you sit up or you maintain posture. That's your nonverbal, and the way your voice sounds when you've talked. Everybody has had a teacher before that talks in a monotone voice where it's easy to doze in and out. You might completely start daydreaming in the middle of class. You want to not be that person during an interview. Nonverbal, or what you're doing with your hands, your feet, any thumping you're doing, or playing with the buttons on your shirt or in the pockets on your pants, that's going to have the greatest impact. Next comes the way your voice sounds. Even if you're fine, if you shout it out, it's not going to sound as though you're fine. Make sure your words match what you're doing with your body and how your voice sounds. Regardless of what you are talking about and the way you're answering questions, in order for this employer to hire you, they have to trust you and believe that you are who you are saying you are. You want them to believe that you really do have those skills, that you really do want this job. And in order to be persuasive, they have to trust you. Your handshake should be firm, not wimpy. You should smile and make steady eye contact. Stand up straight without fidgeting. And when you are walking, have an energetic, purposeful walk. You want to make sure you are going somewhere, not meandering through the halls of Ralston High School, very slowly blocking the entire hallway. Make sure you are ready to move and have purpose. It's going to be a much more positive image. Last slide, we're already there. It's not only important to speak all of the things that you want to say, but it's important to listen as well. Concentrate on every single word the interviewer is saying. It's really easy to go off and try to anticipate the questions they're going to ask you next and be thinking of examples of what you're going to say, and you might miss part of the question or important details about the job. Never interrupt the interviewer, but if you don't understand what they're asking, it's okay to say, I didn't quite understand you. Could you please rephrase that question or please repeat it? Try to avoid, huh? Because it just doesn't sound as professional as other things you might respond with. Watch the interviewer's body language too. If they're looking at their watch and sitting in certain ways, it's probably going to convey to you whether or not your interview is going well, and it might help to change tactics. At this point, if you are not finished with any of the notes, please press pause before moving on. I'm going to go through a couple of assignments that are going to be yours for the rest of the class period, and they should be submitted to Google Classroom. The first activity we're going to work on today is Career Action, or CA 8-2. This is a self-inventory. So what it's asking you is to analyze your normal nonverbal communication patterns. It starts out by having you look at your posture, your handshake, maybe you'll need to test out with a friend, your facial expression, check a mirror, eye contact, voice qualities, gestures, those are your movements for your hands, any other distractive nonverbal habits, and if there's something that doesn't fit into any category. You'll see, like I did this one right here under gestures, you're going to analyze yourself. If this is something you do, you're going to highlight it. Maybe you're going to highlight it. No, you're going to highlight it. And you're going to go up to your highlighting pen, and you're going to indicate that that's something that you do. At the end, you're going to go down to the bottom and choose 3 different nonverbal communication behaviors that you can work on prior to the interview. The second and final worksheet that is going to be part of your assignments for today is Dress for Success. Dress for Success is a list, clothing item by clothing item, of what's expected for a professional job interview. For men, it's a 2-piece suit, jacket and pants, that should be navy, charcoal, or light gray in color. It shouldn't be all wrinkled up. And if you don't have a suit, there's another option for you. A shirt should always be long-sleeved in white or blue. Ties, look for conservative solids or stripes without clip-ons or bow ties. Brown or black leather shoes. Black socks that are long enough not to show your leg if you cross your legs. Make sure that you can't see a Nike swoosh or the Under Armour logo on a gym sock. And then avoid big studded earrings, lots of jewelry, but you might consider a black belt with a small buckle. For women, it's also a suit in similar colors. If you're wearing a skirt, it should be no more than 2 to 3 inches from your knee in either direction. Blouses are long-sleeved in white or cream, although women can have a choice of light pastel colors as well. Shoes, same color. Try not to get high heels that are too high. They give you an estimate of 2.5 inches. Again, you don't want to be extreme. Less is usually more. Stockings or pantyhose. They give you some recommendations for basic accessories and subtle makeup. Now, here's what you're going to do. If you identify as male and would prefer male clothing, you're going to find a total of 6 pictures, 6 different pictures. A 2-piece suit in the appropriate color, a long-sleeved white or blue shirt with a button-down or straight collar, a striped or solid tie, a pair of black or brown leather shoes, black socks, and an appropriate accessory. Watch, maybe a belt buckle. If you identify as female and would wear female clothes, you're going to find 6 pictures: a suit, a blouse, shoes, stockings or pantyhose, an accessory, and an example of appropriate makeup. Those pictures that you find from the internet are going to be attached to this document and it will be submitted to Google Classroom. After that, make sure you have completed your blog question and your interview question for the day, as well as watching the latest Ed Puzzle. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.